Hi, I thought it's been a long time since I've done a video, so I thought I would make one while I'm free. What can I say about this year? This year has been absolutely diabolical. It's been the shittest year ever for everybody, not just myself. People have lost so many loved ones. Grief hits us all different as well, I think. I wouldn't like to say become accustomed to grief, but dealt with grief a lot in my lifetime from a very young age, which has impacted me as an adult really to now. Well, obviously I'm stuck for words, but grief affects us all really, really differently. And now when I'm affected by grief, I feel numb at the beginning and it doesn't hit me for a long time. And I hate that. I hate that now, but I think that's just what's happened to me over the years because I've dealt with so many deaths and it was people close to my age. I had lost a few friends with CF and that was really, really difficult. And every death that happened at that point in time when I was younger, it hit me really, really hard. And I took it more personally, like I don't know how to explain what I mean, but I took it really, really bad that I ended up thinking in a depressive mind for a long time and about death and that it was going to be me next and okay, so my friend died at 12, so I'm going to die at 12, and then I had a friend that died at 16, so I'm going to die at 16, and so on. And I'd done that for years and years and years and just assumed that was the way life was, that was how it was going to happen. And that obviously isn't how it happens. But for a young girl to experience death at such a young age, that was the way I took it. And now I feel numb when I first hear about someone passing, or it doesn't hit me right away anymore the way it used to. The first death I ever experienced, not family related, but was my friend Paul, and he died with CF. I was in primary 6, so must have been about 10, and I grew up in the children's ward with Paul, and we were friends in the ward. We actually stayed in the same town as well. But when we were in the hospital, we had other friends with CF, and we had a friend called Daniel, and him and Daniel were like that in the ward, and they were the biggest comedians you have ever met in your life. And the jokes they would come away with were brilliant, but it was the humour you needed to make your hospital stay worth it, and that's all we did. That's all we did was laugh, and that kept us going, laughing all the time, and that's a good way to remember it. But when my mum had got a phone call and told her I'm positive it was a Sunday morning, and because me and my brother were going to go down the stairs and watch the TV, we were racing down the stairs to grab the remote first, and my mum stopped me and told me in the hall, and I was really upset and I cried in my room most of the day. And I had to look through I had a wee booklet that had numbers in it of all our friends, and I had to look out Daniel's number, and I had to phone him and tell him that our friend had passed away. I will never ever forget that conversation ever in my life. That is one of the worst things I've ever had to do. And he thought that I was phoning him to have a laugh on the phone and have a conversation, and I had to tell him that our friend had passed away. And he just broke his heart down the phone. It was horrible. It was really horrible. And I remember it as if it happened yesterday. But that will never leave me, that conversation, that phone call, that day. It will never leave. And you sit and think about these things and you go, why did that happen to that person, and why was it not me? And then you go, but that life's cruel, and that's the way it happens. And I will always have these amazing memories growing up in the children's world. I would never change my childhood. Never. I would never regret it. I would never change it. Nothing about it. I loved my childhood growing up in the world, apart from being force-fed mashed potatoes. But I loved it. I loved growing up in the world. I loved the staff. I loved the patients. I met so many people along the way. I met so many friends along the way. But now, as an adult, it's not that I'm used to death, it's that now I don't know how to react anymore. And it hits me later on. It hits me like a ton of bricks, and I go, oh my God, they're gone. That person is gone. But I'll never understand how the human brain works, I really won't. But this has been an absolute terrible year. And during the first lockdown, I really thought that my time was up. I've been absolutely petrified this whole year. My kidney function has went down so much. They were going to remove my kidney at one stage. They said my EGFR was down to 5. They were talking about dialysis transplants right away, and then they found out it caused, and then they managed to get it back up. So now it's balanced, but it's still not. It's never going to get better. It's never going to improve. So now I'm going for a transplant assessment after the new year, and now I'm back in this stage of, well, if you're going for a transplant assessment, then you know what that route means. And now it's all that's on my mind. Death is absolutely everywhere, without being morbid about it. And years ago, I'd have welcomed it. I really would have. There was a time in my life where I wasn't scared, and that's what I mean by welcome it. I wasn't scared. I was fine. If I had to go, I wouldn't have any fear. I'd have done it, and it would have been fine. Now, I'm absolutely petrified. I'm so scared. Dying for myself has never, ever, ever been a fear until the past couple of years. And when I met my partner, who I'm with now, and we've been together the last 4 years, as selfish as this sounds, I feel like he gave me a good outlook in life and it made me want to feel like I've got more to do. I'm not done. I don't want to be done. And there's been plenty of times through the first lockdown, come March and everything, where I had to get 3 blood transfusions, and I thought, this is it. And I kind of cut myself back for everybody as well, because I thought, if I cut myself back, then it won't hurt them as much if anything does happen to me. And that's terrible. And now I don't know what's going on in half of my friends' lives, and that was because I was trying to save them pain. It really was. I don't want them to feel that hurt. But no matter what I do, regardless, when someone passes, we all grieve differently, and that's it. But now I'm absolutely petrified. I wish to God this wasn't happening. I wish I knew why it happened. I wish I could stop it. But my kidneys are never ever going to get better. They're done, and that's it. And there's no fixing it. There's no cure. There's no going back. The only option is transplant. Even dialysis won't work, because they said that the dialysis would put my other organs in jeopardy. My other transplanted organs, should I say. So after the new year, I'm going to go for my transplant assessment. We're going to see what the outcome is for that appointment, and then my mum, dad, brother, partner, and I'm pretty sure my auntie has said that they will get tested to be a donor. I do have another brother, but he has CF, so it would have been wise for him to donate a kidney. What if he needed his kidney? And to be honest, because of his condition, I wouldn't have asked him in the first place. I actually didn't want to ask any of them to do it for me. They were the ones who put their name forward. I would rather just wait it out. How do you ever repay someone that's going to even consider to donate your kidney? I don't even know. You also don't want to be in someone's debt, say, but how do you thank someone for that? What do you do? I really don't know. I'm hoping for some miracle that this, I don't even need a transplant, and that everything would go back to normal and I'd be fine and dandy, but that's just living in a fantasy world. So I don't want to say, that's it, I'm dying, that's it. But that will be the case if I don't get a kidney transplant, and I'm trying really hard to deal with that right now. Through the pandemic, and things are different, and we can't see anybody, and we can't visit anybody, and we can't have MD in, and we can't do this, and we can't do that. So when you're at home all the time with your own thoughts, that's a nightmare. Because if your partner's at work or whatever, or you don't even want to burden them with it, and who do you talk to about it? So you are in your own thoughts, and your mind works overtime, and it's an absolute horrible feeling, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. There is some days I have good days, and I think I'm going to put makeup on and I'm going to go on with my day, and when people see you like that, they think, there's nothing wrong, she's fine, because you wear a bit of makeup. But the truth is, I'm not fine. I'm at home, and I don't eat. I can't eat. My face might say otherwise, but seriously, I don't eat. Every time I eat, I feel sick, I feel ill. I'm sick a lot of mornings, and when I'm sick in the morning, that ruins my whole day because it drains me. It's really draining. I'm tired all the time, but I still try and get on as normal, and I still try and get on with my day, and I still try and do my own shopping, and I still try and drive my car, because really I don't want to give up until my body tells me to. I don't want to give up until the last minute. I just don't want to do it, and I'm stubborn, and I won't. There is days obviously I'll feel sorry for myself, but then you need to pick yourself back up for that and just go, no, I'm not doing this. And probably a lot of that's down to my mum, because my mum always pulled me up when I was feeling like that, when I was in hospital, and I would say I can't do it anymore, and my mum was always there to pull me back up. But I hope to God that next year is a better year for everybody, for everybody, and that some miracles do happen for some people, and that everybody gets what they want next year, because this year has been fucking shit. Absolute shit. And I think everybody feels the same way. There's no way that anybody can say well, maybe there are people that can say that some good came from it, but the majority of people will not. And let's hope next year is a much better year. Grief does take its toll on everybody. Really, it does. I just hope that no one experiences as much grief as what they've had this year. I wouldn't wish this year on anyone.